All right, here we go. Good evening and welcome to the Joust. My name is Nagy. I'm here as always with my co-host Liam McNeil. But Liam, looking a bit different this week. Can you tell us about what you're wearing?
Look, Nagy, what we're wearing, we're sporting the colours this week, as they say. We're sporting the colours of the almighty Tooheys New. Sorry, I was about to say VB. We've got to cover that up. The Tooheys New South Wales Blues, because it's that time of year, Nagy. Time for Origin.
Yes. Now, I lent you that one.
You did.
Because that's an old one of mine. And
it's very fitting.
Fitting, yes. It looks sort of like a shirt that you might wear to the beach if you didn't want to cop much sun.
That's it. For listeners who don't know us well, you don't know that we didn't used to look like this. We used to be far smaller.
Thinner.
We were much thinner, man.
Funny story, and I'm not going to reveal this to him unless he listens this week, but Billy Barton, a friend of mine, lent me that jersey, I would say about 5 years ago, and then I lost it the next year, still had it, and told him that I'd returned it to him. I think I used the phrase, I swear to you that I remember returning it to you. But that was simply a ploy to cover my tracks because I'd lost it, Billy. Now Liam is wearing it because I found it again.
Here it is.
But now I'm in the position where I can't tell you that I've actually recovered it, because that will mean that you'll find out that I was lying before.
That's a test for Mr. Barton's loyalties to see if he does watch the show.
In fact, if you're watching the show, Billy, you can have it back. If not, it's going to remain with me now, Liam.
Now, Nagy.
We better kick off with was the special announcement. It's a mere in less than a week away. By the time you're watching this, we'll be at the Commonwealth Hotel to recording live from the Commonwealth Hotel to welcome in the Origin 1 game. It's going to be up there in Brisbane, so all the Novocastrians should get around the epicentre of Newcastle in the commie.
The leading venue for live sport in Newcastle on the Hunter, the Commonwealth Hotel.
It's going to be a fantastic night. We'll be recording there. We'll be talking to all the punters. We got a door prize for the one who wears the most blue, as well as there's going to be a bit of a try series going on to really see who's the best of the two teams.
A bit of halftime shenanigans.
There's going to be a bit of shenanigans. So please come along. Obviously, it's a free event, and we'll love to see you there midweek. All for those Thursday headaches.
Wonderful Thursday headaches. Takes me back to student nights at the Cambridge Hotel.
That's right. That's what I was trying to remember. Like, why do I always think about Thursday? Because Thursday's almost Friday, and Friday's the end of the week.
Yeah, but Thursday used to be the day of pain in Newcastle, I remember.
Yeah, it was a quiet day. Not many phone calls were made then.
But I tell you what wasn't quiet. Friday bloody night, Aggie.
Friday
it was
night.
Loud, wasn't it?
That's how loud it was.
That's how it felt. That's what it felt like. The Knights getting up 38-12 over defending premiers, the Sydney Eastern Suburbs Roosters.
It was probably, I think Sterlo quoted the headline the best when I think it was, I've forgotten it now. Something pounding the premiers.
Pearson Ponga pound the premiers.
That's the one.
Yeah.
And it was just such a fantastic sight to see because...
We do love alliteration on this show.
It's our favourite thing. And... Look, it was an incredible game for a host of reasons, but mainly because we just dominated them. It seems like we came right out of the gates, and it looked like, Newcastle's, really showing a lot of fight here. What was your first impressions of the game?
That it was a proper 80-minute performance. Like, as far as I can recall, the Knights have not played that well for 80 minutes. So for me, it was just an absolutely incredible win. It was great to see, and led by Mitchell Pearce. That's 5 man-of-the-match performances in a row. 5 times in a row, he's won 3 Dally M points.
But also, he's got something else, 5 in a row, I believe, as well. That's even more prestigious than Dally M points and man-of-the-matches. I think he got the hats off for this week as well.
He did indeed. That's 5 hats off in a row. That's unheard of.
Because we had a sound for the Pong. We need a sound for
Mitchell Pearce. So any of you listeners out there who are prolific sound engineers, send us through your sound for Pearce. And we may well need it because in the form he's in at the moment, he looks like it's never going to stop. He's just continuing on and on and on.
Well, he just keeps showing against these better and better sides that he's he steps it up, and when he's playing well, the team's playing well. They were saying earlier today that it's usually your forwards play well and then your halves play well off the back of it. And I think you can see that from teams like the Tigers or the Penrith or the Eels, where they get a good
the Westies.
I was going to say all the teams out there. Like don't want to say that, but that's where all the
I'll
teams
say
are
it. The Westies.
The Westies. And if their forward pack lays a foundation, then the halves seem to come through and really play well. But it seems like the Mitchell Pearce is playing well off the back of his forwards, but also coming straight out of the gate and playing really dominant football.
And the thing that impressed me the most was right off that first off the kickoff, the sting in the defence. The Roosters are very well known as being the best defensive side in the comp, but I think it was the Knights' defence that really got the game started and got the Knights on the go on the front foot.
It was we definitely I just kept watching the score go up and I thought, when's it going to come back?
When does it stop?
When does the Roosters going to push back? Because I know they're a class side, and look, the tries that the Knights conceded, one from Tedesco, and that just caught us napping quite literally when there was a bit of a. It was almost like a touch football play, like it's the quick go, and then from 15 metres out and gets over the line. And then the next one for Connor Watson fumbling it later in the game, and it was those tries. They
were two sort of nothing tries.
Well,
They didn't crack the defensive line. They didn't breach our line. It was just occasions where things happened.
There was no great kick. There was no great contest. There was no tackle breaks to get through. Really, you could argue Tedesco broke a couple of tackles, but it's. What we did, we just defended really well. We forced mistakes out of their side a lot. I think they made 15 mistakes.
15 errors, I believe, yes.
Roosters, yeah, and we made 5 or something. So that just shows you the difference in the two calibers of the side there.
And I was really impressed with the bench again. The bench players brought great impact. Jay Gavay, a favourite of the show.
Jay Gavay, yeah.
What he showed is what I've wanted to see from him all year. None of that footwork at the line, which he does, and he does quite well. But I just wanted to see him coming off the back fence and just knocking players asunder, just skittling players. And he did that a few times in this game. And I think that's a really good sign that Jay's just going hard and going forward. SESE was great off the bench as well. Connor Watson having to fill in, obviously, at hooker. He was just outstanding. The bench brought really good impact again.
It was really hard to find a player that didn't really step up to the mark. I thought everyone played really well. And I was just really proud of the boys. Again, like we had all these wins, but so many of them were away. And to have that one against the Premiers at home.
In front of 25,959, I think that's a remarkable crowd.
I like how we still get 20 plus regardless. If we had lost the last 5 games, we'd probably still get 19 or something like that. But it's nice just to pack house and just say this is where we stand. This is how we do it. And now we're up 4th, and which is a terribly frightening place to be on the ladder.
I can't remember the last time the Knights were in the top 4.
No, I can't. There's people talking about when it happened mid-season, when it happened at the start of the season, and it's all a bit grey. But when do you really start counting places in the on the ladder? But I thought when we're struggling to get in the 8, I was like, oh, if only we could be in the 8, then everything will be all right.
Yeah.
And then I look at the stuff now, and then we're in the coming 4th, and I think, oh Christ, this is more anxious than when we're coming 10th.
But it's a great place to be leading into the Origin period, because we're going to lose a few key players. Obviously, losing Ponga, losing Clemmer. The Pearce and Ponga combination has been unfathomably good the last 6 weeks.
Yep.
And so losing those players through Origin, there's going to be a bit of a struggle. So being in the top 4, it gives us that bit of leeway. You can drop the odd game and you can remain in the 8. I think if we're still in the bottom half of the 8 through the Origin period, it becomes much tougher.
Yeah.
It's just a much more daunting prospect.
It's hard when you drop out to climb back up, I think, to find that form again. So I think we're finding it at the right time coming into this time of the season. Now, on the Roosters game, there was a moment where Jared Warrior-Hargraves, everyone's least favourite individual, came out. Look, a lot of people were calling him a dog, and I agree with all of those people.
I agree too. I second that.
It was just a dog move. Like, the man isn't a dog. He isn't a canine. Like, he doesn't. But he just did a thing that he knew at the time that was a cheap shot, as well as there was 2 occasions. One with holding
the choking,
the Kalen Ponga's throat. And look, this is just big man on little man. I'm sorry, but rugby league has never applauded when a large man has belted a small man.
No.
And when a large man has belted another large man, Absolutely.
Or
That's
if a small man has
fantastic.
belted another man.
That's it. If you're a large man, I'm sorry, you can only belt big men. But so there was the choking, which sort of started the thing. But what really drove it home was when he hit Caleb Ponga after Ponga put a grubber kick in. Now this was talked about last night by a couple of the Sydney media aficionados, including Paul Gallen.
Funnily enough, gave two very contrasting points. I mean, Phil Gould on 110% footy, he said no, never should have been given 2 weeks. He was given 2 weeks, obviously, for those who have missed it. Phil Gould, no, there's nothing wrong with that tackle. It's perfectly clean. Whereas on the other side, Paul Kent, Ben Eichen from NRL 360 were saying that Warrior Hargraves may have been lucky to only get 2 weeks. I said it was terrible. So I agree with NRL 360, and that's why I pay my money for Foxtel, because they agree with me.
Gus Gould and Paul Gallen, another thug, agreed that it shouldn't have been suspension. But at the beginning of last year, there was a real emphasis on protecting the kickers. I think it had to be he was kicking the ball. He finished kicking the ball, didn't rewrite his body at all, and then was hit late. And then if you look at the tackle, he's looking to take the player out. And he did take the player out for the rest of the game. The fact that we won by a large margin makes you think it didn't have any effect. But if this was the first thing of the game and then he's just taken out, if this is what Paul Gallen and Gus Gould want, is to be having these big guys taking out little kickers, going hard at all these players after the ball's been kicked. Your Cooper Cronks and your I was going to say Tamari Martin. I don't know why he came to mind.
Sorry, Nagy's quite ill today. His brain's fried like an egg.
Yeah, there's a lot of cold and flu tablets rattling around. And so, if that's the game if they want, good on them. But that's the game that Paul Gallen's been playing for his whole career. But it's just so, if you're going to be genuine about protecting the kickers and then someone gets hit late after the ball, first off, the referees made a mistake and didn't call a penalty. It should have been a penalty and a...
Well, that's it. And that's what Eichen and Kent were saying. Not only did the referees miss it, the touch judge missed it, the bunker missed it, everyone missed it. I don't know how they all managed to miss it. We talk about the merits of the two-referee system. I think it's a good system. I like the two-referee system. But when you have touch judges who are there, you've got a bunker who are there who can officiate, and they all missed it, something fishy's gone on there.
Very fishy.
Very fishy. I just want to talk about the positives of the game. It was so good. That Pearson-Ponga connection is just incredible. Ponga now scored 6 tries in 6 games. His first player since Aquila Uarte, crowd favourite to do that in 2012. The two of them are just looking like an unstoppable force.
They've definitely found each other's tune. They're tapping away at the same rhythm, and they just seem to complement each other. You've got two very capable, dangerous point scorers, both try scorers and try assisters.
And most impressive. And Connor Watson as well, I think, had probably his best game of the year.
Strong game.
Easily, with 124 metres, 6 tackle busts, a line break and a try. I think he may have played himself into that number 9 jersey now that Danny Levi has gone down injured, which we'll look at in the news.
Injury to Danny Levi, but we'll talk about the news. Time to talk about Origin. Are you ready for the Origin transition, Liam?
Yes.
There's a bit of a splat at the end there.
I thought you were ready for that, but I wasn't. It was wonderful. Now,
it's time to talk about Origin, guys.
Let's get right in and announce the team. We're announcing it exclusively here first.
This is definitely first, yeah.
4 days later. Now, the State of Origin team is as follows. In the number 1 jersey at fullback, we have James Tedesco. On the wings, in number 2 and number 5, Nick Kotrick and Addo Carr. Number 3 and number 4, our centres, Latrell Mitchell and Josh Morris getting a recall. Hasn't played Origin since 2016. In the halves, 6 and 7, we have Cody Walker and Nathan Cleary. Number 8 at prop, our very own David Clemmer. We love him. He's a great boy. Congratulations to him.
Good boy.
Good boy. Paul Vaughan will pack in at the other side of the scrum. Damien Cook at hooker. Second row of Boyd Cordner and Tyson Frizzell. Jake Trebojevic will lock the scrum with Jack White and Payne Haas, Cameron Murray, Angus Crichton on the bench with Ryan Madison and Victor Radley as 18th and 19th men respectively. Nagy, how does that team strike you?
Look, there's a couple of things that scream out to me, and I'll start with the halves.
Start with the halves, please.
Cody Walker's been playing out of his skin and probably deserves a call-up.
He's probably the form player in the comp at the moment.
I just don't know if he works well with Nathan Cleary.
It is a strange combination, isn't it? Because I think Cody Walker needs that, and this seems to be the common theme, is that Cody Walker needs that dominating, match-setting, game-playing half like Adam Reynolds is.
Yeah.
And that's the half that everyone seems to want Nathan Cleary to be, but not the half that he is at the moment.
They could have got it from Mitchell Pearce if he didn't have that groin injury.
Could have got it from Mitchell Pearce if he didn't have that little groin injury. Could have got it from Adam Reynolds. I think I think it comes down to is last year. Excuse me. Sorry, that's Murray's 262 there.
Delicious.
Repeating on me.
Yeah.
I think what it comes down to is last year, upon picking Nathan Cleary, Phil Gould had a chat with Brad Fittler and he sat him down. He said, look, Freddie, if you pick Nathan Cleary this year, you have to pick him next year. He's going to be a franchise. Well, I guess Origin's not a franchise, but, he's got to be the heart and the soul of the team for the next 10 years. So if you pick him this year, you have to pick him next year. And we know how much Brad Fittler obviously leans on Gus and has learned from Gus, and they're both old Penrith boys through and through. So I think that may have inspired Fittler to pick Cleary again.
Nathan Cleary's out of form, and what I'm worried about here is I do see him as a future number 7. He's only a pup. He's out of form at the moment, and if we throw him in now and then he plays god awful, they won't select him again for 2 years.
It's like Mullen, the Mullen situation.
It will be that churn in, churn out half situation that we had for years and years and years. Look, at least they went with Cody Walker. If they try to go with the Penrith double and the Penrith were coming dead last, because Penrith in the end, look, Nathan Cleary had a decent game in his last game, but he just can't get that team moving at Penrith, and he's got a good team. And if you give them a better team here that don't know each other that well, 9 debutants last year, 5 this year, I think it's basically a new side.
But Nagy, I think you're putting too much emphasis on Penrith being a good team. What they've showed this year is they're actually not a very good team. I don't think he's surrounded by the best players he could be, and at Origin being surrounded by very good players, he's going to have hopefully a dominant forward pack. He's going to have backs he can give early ball to who can do a lot of stuff. He's going to have his role very simple, I think. He's very simplified like he did last year. He just needs to feed his outside backs. He just needs to get out of the way of the forwards, kick well, tackle well, and that's it. He doesn't need to be the spark. That's what Cody Walker's there for, and that's what the outside backs are there for. So I like the team, but I think it should have been Reynolds and Walker. Besides that, I can't really fault any of the other selections. Jack Whiten definitely deserves his spot. He's been playing out of his skin at 5'8" down there in Canberra. He can fill any position in the back line.
Big boy.
Cameron Murray, I'm very excited to see. He's been in spectacular form for Souths. And Payne Haas, he's debuting very young, but
during Ramadan as well.
During Ramadan, where he's been playing without eating through the day.
Or drinking water.
Quite something, or drinking water. That's an impressive thing. So I'm very excited for Origin, as we always are, but I think the Blues have picked a good squad.
I think you summed it up well there, Liam. Time for the news. What's in the news this week?
Well, not much in the news this week. Jared Waerea-Hargreaves, as we discussed earlier, has received a 2-match suspension for his hit on Kalen Ponga.
Yes.
We've covered that pretty ad nauseum.
Well, let's just say if he was facing the judiciary in Newcastle, there'd be flaming torches and
a jail sentence.
Yes.
A jail sentence, yes. The other news, Danny Levi will miss 6 to 8 weeks with a side... Danny Levi will miss 6 to 8 weeks with an ankle injury, syndesmosis injury.
We practice before we record. We sound out all our vowels and consonants. Devastating news for Danny.
It is. He was just hitting such beautiful form as well.
Career best form. I would say maybe just before in 2017 when he made the Kiwi side, he might have been playing a little bit better, but he's actually in a winning side now. He's got this weird combination going where he comes in and comes out, and Mann sometimes slots in, and Watson slots in, but it's just working. It seems to be working.
It's working very well, but I think that game that Connor Watson played on Friday night, I think he's definitely cemented himself as the number 9 with Kurt Mann to stay at 5'8", and then that opens up the way for Jamie Buhrer to come back in that utility role at number 14 on the bench. So we'll be seeing the Fuhrer again, which it's been a while since we've seen him in first grade.
Yeah, it'd be good. It'd be good to see him back. He's
him.
A good clubman.
He's a great clubman.
He's just a good boy.
Good boy. Very good boy. Luke Keary now is out for 4 to 6 weeks after Dan Safidi's hit. Now, that's an example of a good clean hit on a playmaker. That is how, as a big man...
Because Cleary still had the ball in his hands.
That's it. That is, as a big man, how you are allowed to hit a small man. Not the way Jared did it, the way that Daniel did it.
If you look at it too, he came over the top of his shoulders, and the weight of Safidi's sort of torso and head just sort of squashed him. And Dan Safidi is 125 kilos of Fijian immenseness.
And he doesn't control gravity. Gravity happens, regardless of what he has to say about it.
Well, yeah, he can try.
He can try, but he won't succeed. So Luke Keary out for 4 to 6 weeks from Dan Speedy's hit. And more Origin news in the under-18 State of Origin team. The women's New South Wales team will feature 3 Newcastle players, Caitlin Johnston, Olivia Kernick and Jolie Morris. And the men's under-18 side will feature Newcastle players Bradman Best and Mitchell Black.
Congratulations, guys.
Well done to a couple of the young guns making the Origin sides there.
Keep your eyes out for them. They usually play it as the curtain raiser, don't they?
They do
Fox
tend
Sports?
to do so. Probably.
I don't know.
I haven't checked my TV guide.
There's usually
Check your local listings.
Do you remember we used to have the TV guide out? And you'd be able to, and it was sort of coloured as it got later. And then there'll be reviewers that would give little reviews.
I used to love reading the TV guide.
One time I saw that Forrest Gump only got 3.5 stars.
Really?
And I thought, how? I thought, what a bastard. Time to open your sack, Liam. Oof.
Now, first question.
Full. It was brimming.
It was
I
brimming.
only
Now-
had a glimpse at your sack.
First question,
I don't
Nagy.
touch Liam's sack. It's Liam's to deal with.
And I think this is going to be a bit
But I
of
glaze over it.
I don't think Nagy's going to be happy about this one, but
Yeah.
we've got a question from Kelly.
Kelly
And we're
Wilson.
going to answer this question from Kelly because it's a
Yeah.
good one.
Yeah.
Kelly asks, Newcastle now sit 4th for the first time in 5 years mid-season. I'm not sure what he means by that. What do you consider a pass mark from here on in? Top 8, top 6 with a home semi, or retain the top 4 position and a second chance in the final? Love heart, Kelly, smiley face, emotion.
Oh, God.
Emoji.
Look, Kelly, it depends on so many circumstances. If the team
So many
If
circumstances.
the team stays how it is, if Pong gets injured in Origin, suddenly our expectations drop. If Pearce blows his hammy, our expectations drop. If everyone stays in the park and Danny Levi comes back, and we might even see a bit more Slade Griffin, maybe.
I forgot about Slade Griffin entirely.
Yeah, well, I
Oh,
don't.
wow.
I don't
He's
know
going
how
to be
he's
due
going.
back in July.
I'm going to try to find out
Yeah.
how he's going. Speak to people.
We'll speak to Phil.
in the know.
Uncle Phil. We'll
Uncle
call
Phil.
Uncle Phil.
I'll give him a call. I usually give him a call. He doesn't pick up though. So it's all about expectation of where if these teams stays on the park. Now we know they can score points, so our expectations is high. They should be playing well. Beginning of the season, we were like, I think they can play, and like everyone was a bit of guessing. But it's so now as long as we keep our players in the park, I think we're aiming for a top 6.
I got to agree. I think top 6 for certain would be a pass mark, but obviously within the club they have different KPIs that we don't know about.
Yeah.
I think even 6th to 9th will be seen as an improvement on the last few years. But yeah, for me, it's got to be in the top 6.
It's got to be finals.
Got to be finals. Absolutely. If we miss the finals, we'll have things to say about it. Next question, Daniel Turner. Oh, looking forward into the future from Daniel. Are we looking forward to the heavyweight bout in round 18 between Hargraves and Clemmer? Yes.
Yes, indeed.
Absolutely.
I think Clemmer's going to get injured before then. I think Clemmer's one of these props that are on the back end of his career. I think that's why he's playing
He's
so
only
aggressively. 25. What?
David Clemmer.
No, sorry, I'm talking about Hargraves.
Oh.
Sorry about that. Sorry, Jess. It's cold and flu again. I think Hargraves is the reason he's playing so cheap and nasty is because he's looking for another contract. I think Penrith is sniffing him out, but I reckon he's pretty busted and bruised, and just from a career, he's been playing a long time.
He's been around for quite a while.
Yeah. He was still featuring, he featured in the Roosters final in 2010.
Yeah, with that impressive hit he took from Simon Dwyer.
Simon Dwyer, yeah. So I think he's just sniffing. He's playing exciting now, so he can secure another contract and just play boring again.
So it's a perfect opportunity in round 18 for David Clemmer to just beat up on him.
Just beat him up.
That'll
Take
be
him
sick.
out the back of the tuck shop, across from the sports oval where no one can see you.
Down by the bike racks.
And just give him a kick in the shin and a hit in the stomach because that's all.
See, the funny thing was we had a swamp at our school.
Yeah.
So whenever there was people lining up for a fight, it was always 3:30 by the swamp. By the swamp. 3:30 by the swamp. That was where we used to go to fight. I never got in a fight in high school.
Neither did I. used to watch
or
them.
in my life.
I watched them though.
I got punched once in a rugby game, but I didn't know what to do, so I didn't punch him back. Shane Avnell asks, do you think the Knights are looking to buy someone before June 30? I love our forwards, but I personally think we need a good hard forward as a backup. Nagy, do we need backup?
No, I don't think so. I think we've got a squad for this year.
I think we could do with one more winger maybe.
Possibly,
But
only if there was like an injury.
Only to fill
and-
Rossi's spot.
Look, possibly. Yes and no. I'm going to keep that vague. I'm sorry. If something comes up, if a real good bargain comes up, look, Sekiara was on the market for ages, and no one touched him until Brisbane. He worked out well, and now he's been done DUI.
Yeah, well, that's he's been done DUI because he's still on his P's. It's not often you see a grown man in his P's.
Still DUI.
Yeah, still. Sigrid Fletcher asks, is the sack for sale? If so, how much for? Sigrid, no.
No,
That's all ours.
That's Liam's.
That's mine.
Yeah.
And Nagy's when he wants to use it. But he doesn't. He doesn't touch it.
Last question from the second lane.
Nathan McCluffney, do you think Clemmer has challenged DSAF to match him because he was on fire against the Roosters? I think yes.
Yeah.
Daniel's come out and said earlier in the year how much he's learned from David Clemmer and how much David Clemmer brings him, brings experience and brings him up and has taught him about being a front rower. So I think absolutely yes, David Clemmer has been maybe the best thing to ever happen to Daniel Safidi. We always knew DSAF was going to be a very good prop and he was going to challenge for rep honours, but I think having Clemmer alongside him has just shown him the path that he needs to take and the things that he needs to do to fulfil that potential. So I think absolutely yes.
I think Dan Safidi's playing really well, and I think if we can just get him playing well for a little bit longer in the game, I think he plays some of the shortest minutes that we have, but that's how they work out their rotation. They've got Tim Glasby there as another prop, which is an interesting thing they do.
It's a strange rotation, isn't it?
It's a strange rotation. Lee, do we have anything from the lower grades?
We do. The lower grades, Reggie's last week in the battle of my two loves. The Knights won, so I'm happy. Against the Bears, so I'm very unhappy. 32-14. We've got the Bulldogs next away. Jersey Flegg had the bye last weekend, but next week they will be playing the Victorian Thunderbolts away.
Oh, look. I hope that keeps up. I'm sorry, I tuned out for a moment there.
That's quite all right.
I heard Thunderbolts and I thought, where are they from?
They're from Victoria. They're the Melbourne Storm junior system.
Oh, right.
Thunderbolts Storm, get it?
Thunderbolts Storm. Oh, I see. Yeah, the juniors. Yeah. If you like us, please like us on Facebook, YouTube, SoundCloud, Twitter, and Instagram, all those social pipes. Liam, where are you going to be watching Origin?
I'm going to be watching at the Commonwealth Hotel with a can of Murray's 262 in my hand.
Keep an eye out for us.
Might even have 3 or 4.
Please come down. Look, it's going to be a fantastic night. Remember, there's no game the following week, so our episode will be from the Commie Live. Very interesting stuff, but we'll be out on the Friday after Origin, so keep your eyes out for that. It's going to be a fantastic night. Please come down and join us. We love Origin more than others. No, I love Origin about as much as everyone else. You love Origin much more than me. It's becoming a concern, but please come down. It's gonna be a fantastic night. So we'll see you all down there at the Commie, and if we don't see you there, we'll see you next week, guys. Thank you very much.
You did wonderfully. Very good.
How much did you get it?